Well, let's go as we do at this time in the week, every week, to the very articulate and very informed and very credible Deputy Executive Director of the Institute of Public Affairs, Daniel Wild. We have been talking about The Voice. There is a lot of nonsense being cited, and indeed one of the arguments used to silence people like Daniel and me and others is to say, oh, well, you can't be believed. You're saying it's a third chamber. This is not the argument about The Voice. We don't care whether it's a third chamber. Let's agree that it's not going to be a third chamber. Let's make that explicit. But that's not the reason why there has to be a no voice for The Voice. Let's bring Daniel in. Daniel, the argument here has got nothing to do with third chambers. This is an argument whereby we're enshrining race in the Constitution for a minority of people, for a group of people who get a vote to go into the Constitution this way based on race.
You're 100% right, Alan. This is about racial equality, and that every Australian, regardless of their background, their race, their gender, their religion, how much income they have, no matter what, you are Australian, everybody gets the same say.
An equal voice.
The voice to Parliament would work.
Equal voice.
100% right. And the voice to Parliament would divide us by race permanently in our Constitution.
That's the issue.
And secondly, it would provide different and separate political and legal rights for one group of Australians based on their race, and that's why The Voice is a enormously concerning concept.
Absolutely, that's the guts of it. Now, I was doing some figures today. There are 150 members of the House of Representatives. There are 76 members, 12 for each state and 2 for each of the territories, 76 members. Total, 226. Indigenous Australians, and we're grateful for that, have 11 of those people, 11 of 226. That is 4.8% of the Parliament. 4.8% of the population would be about 1.2 million people. There aren't 1.2 million people on the census that identify as Indigenous Australians. So indeed it could be argued that far from not having a voice in the Parliament, they are overrepresented. Now, the notion of having a voice, a special voice to be heard, to be not excluded and so on, you and I'd like a voice, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we like someone to ask us about debt, about the educational curriculum? There's plenty of things we'd like to have a voice on, but we elect people to have that voice, don't we?
We do, Alan. We should have an Aussie battler voice.
That's it.
In Parliament.
Struggle Street voice. A Struggle Street voice.
Struggle Street voice. And look, those mainstream Australians in the suburbs and regions, they don't have a voice. Neither major political party talks about the issues they're concerned about. The major institutions of our society, whether it's big corporates or the media elites or academia, they don't represent the views and aspirations of mainstream Australians. So if there is going to be a separate voice, it should be a voice for mainstream Australians. Indeed, the wealthy inner city elites now have their own voice, the Teals. The only people that don't have a voice are hardworking men and women, families and small businesses in this country that are consistently put last by the inner city elites.
That's it.